Jeff Rowe from Two Hacks Garage. Well, beard, long sleeve, and pants, yep, the weather's turning. You know what that means. No racing, no hot rodding, none of that type of fun stuff. But what it also means is Jimmy and I will be in a shop, we'll be building engines, we'll be getting ready for next year. A little while back, I shared something with you. I was starting to buy up parts and all that fun jazz. I went over to Indianapolis, over by IRP, and bought a 283. Well, guys, it's time to get prepared to start building that. A whole bunch of preparation goes into building an engine, not only buying parts, doing your research on what you want to do, but there's a whole lot of little things you can do beforehand to make sure your hot rod engine actually gets proper oiling, proper torquing, proper everything. Jimmy and I like our attention to detail, and that's what this video is kind of about. Over in a vat over there, I got the 283. It's going to go to Jimmy soon to get hot tanked and machined, but I did do some oil modifications on that. I'm also putting it through electrolysis right now to get any rust out of the water jackets and that fun jazz. This video isn't about that. This video is about oiling. What you can do to a small block Chevy oil pump, the actual main, which is the furthest one in the back, that the oil pump mounts to, what you can do to modify that to get just better oiling in there. I'm going to show you what that means and why it needs to be done. But with that, guys, I'm pretty excited about the Hot Rod 283, the hot diggity dog one that I talked about a few months back. It's going to be fun, it's going to be rowdy, and it's definitely going to be old school. So I tell you what, guys, let me grab that main and let's show you what we got going on. All right, guys, here's what we got working with. This is just going to be for reference only. This is a factory small block Chevy oil pump and pickup, but this is what we're working with. If you want to call it main cap number 5, well, here you go, guys. This is actually going to be oriented like this. So this is going to face down at the oil pan, and this is towards the back of the engine. So the end of the crankshaft is right here, and this is where your flywheel or flex plate would mount to. So if you look at the bottom of this where the oil pump attaches to, and you look right here, your oil gets pushed through there. And if you look real closely, you see how that's all nice and rough in there, then it kind of goes up and has that. Well, that actually impedes oil flow. If you want consistent, proper oil flow, what you can do is, you know what, guys, you just grind that away. You got to be careful, because what you want to do is you want to get that oil, when it comes through here from the pump, you want to get that oil which has a nice even flow to go down in there, not just bouncing around, sloshing around, where it can have some oil cavitation. So how does that work? Well, it's pretty simple, guys. If you look here, you have your oil pump right here, and the way that goes together is like this. So when the oil pump is installed, that thing is going to pick up oil and it's going to shove it through there, spins off the distributor, and it's going to start pushing it where it needs to go. Well, if you look at this side, get it apart of the oil pump, how it pushes through there, it's actually nice and smooth. You can actually clean that up too, but we're going to focus on this. So this is the part, guys, what you need to do to clean up right in here to have proper oil flow that's not only consistent, but it also doesn't have any barriers to go in there. So all I'm going to do is I have, some porting bits, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to clean that up. That way, when oil hits here, it just pours down that hole, easy as peasy. See you in a few. All right, so I end up using a different porting bit, just a shorter one, but with a round head. It only takes about 10 minutes, but if you look closely here, where that raised part was in there on both sides, I took that out and made it even through here. It kind of radiused it all out. If you look even closer right there and right there, it's a nice gradual roll. It just rolled all that in. Made sure this is all still set. You got to be careful around the threads. You see I nicked that. It'll be fine. But if you notice, the big difference here is it's a little bit more deep in here the restrictions that were in there, along with the sharp edge on your hole where your oil flows, that's all been removed. So that's going to greatly help out with oil flow and make sure, you know, this engine is going to be seeing some RPM. So when that oil pump's working, now mind you, I'll be running a high flow oil pump, probably high volume too. This will really help with that. The more oil, the more pressure. You know what, guys? That's the name of the game on some of these engines. But yeah, turned out pretty well. It's a very easy DIY thing that you can do. It doesn't have to look pretty. This one actually turned out pretty good. A lot cleaner, a lot better. I dig it. Oh, and by the way, like I said, be careful with the threads. What you want to do afterwards is take your oil bolt, put it in there, make sure it's cool. I've actually seen people do this with an extra oil bolt installed and go around it. But yeah, pretty easy, simple task you can do on your own. You know what, guys? Let's go check out that block. Hey, real quick, guys, before I get this block out, remember I said it was electrolysis? Well, I've shown you videos on that, and I've been having this thing cook for now, I don't know, like 12 hours. It's pretty simple. You got a cheap old battery charger. You got whatever item inside here that you want derusting and get all that removed. Well, that's in the solution. Basically, you have an anode, which is steel. You want to be careful with stainless, and you don't have it touching the item. But you hook up your positive lead there and your negative lead to the other item you want rust removed. And you add sodium bicarbonate, which is basically a laundry booster, Arm & Hammer, OxyClean. You know what? This is pretty cheap. But before I remove this, I just want to show you guys something. How much junk comes out. Now, I always inspect these engines' water jackets, especially like with this 283. I noticed there was a lot of deposits in there. Well, look at that nasty crap. That's all been pulled out of that engine block. I have cleaned it off a few times, but yeah, devil's in the details. It's always attention to all that type of stuff. There's so much you can do, you know what, prior to actually getting this hot tanked and machined that really does add up. In fact, before I do this, I'll show you a video from yesterday morning of another thing you can do for attention to detail, making sure you do things right. See you in a few. All right, well, I got it out of the electrolysis tank. Now, mind you, you see surface rust and all that. Well, that's from that process. This is going to go directly to Jimmy's, get thrown in the hot tank to get fully degreased so we can go ahead and start machining on this. But that's not what we're talking about. Let's talk about some other quick oiling mods that you can do to this. Oh, mind you, that last video I just saw, yeah, that's another important step of block prep you can do on your own. All I did was chase the threads. I went through and chased every single thread on the entire engine block and got all that nasty, greasy grime out and gunk. So when it gets hot tanked, more of that comes out. And then when it gets machined, before I put it back in the hot tank after machining, I do it again. The reason I do that, it's attention to details, guys. And I want to make sure all the threads around this are completely clean, 100%. That way, when I go to assemble this and there's a proper torque spec on this, I can achieve that. If you have a bunch of gunk in there, that can throw off your torque specs. Just another DIY tip you can do. Like I said, attention's in the details. So what did I do to help oiling mods on top? Well, if you look back here, it's kind of hard to see. And in this corner, so that's where oil, generally speaking, will return. And it flows down these channels here after it goes through everything. And these holes here and back here, it's a better picture on that one. That's better right there. But what happens is, well, these are sand cast. So a lot of times there's a bunch of casting flaws and slag, if you want to call it, built up in there around that edge. All I do is I go in there and remove all the additional casting in there. And if you look closely, I round that off. A lot of times it's a sharp edge corner and, you know, oil will hit that when I move. The way I do is I take the casting flaws out. So when this comes down here like this, it has a smooth transition back down into the oil pan where it needs to be picked up. Also, up here, you see these oiling holes here and here. Well, those are usually a solid lip too, so when oil hits it, it's not a smooth transition. All I do is I take a radius bit and I go in there, if you look closely, and I just radius those out. Pretty simple DIY trick to help with oiling mods. You can see it on that one. There's a couple other tricks you can do with this that I might get into once this engine's ready to machine. I know Jimmy and I have taken and been very careful on these channels to make sure they're nice and smooth, so when oil does come back down, it drains back, has that smooth transition to those holes along with those. So yeah, guys, those are some easy DIY oil modifications. I should have shown you this before, but I've been, doing a whole lot of work everywhere else. But the main point of this video was that simple do-it-yourself oil modification on the main for the oil pump. That really does help. Takes about 10-15 minutes worth of work. And the best part about it is, guys, you can do it on your own. And when you can do it on your own, you save money and you can take pride in your work. Till the next one, we'll see you soon.